Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight Frightcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 85. I am one of your hosts, Josh. Sitting in the room with me tonight, as always, is the Scream Queen herself, Maddie.
Hey everybody.
The Doctor of Filmonomics, Greg the Movie Guy.
You're going to have to give me visual cues because I'm deaf now.
And the Doctor of Everything Else, Patrick.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Oh shit, it kicked us off again.
It still says live.
No, I'm kidding, Josh. I'm kidding.
So
ruined it. I'm sorry, Patrick.
That would have been so shitty. So news tonight, everything's still canceled, so we're going to skip that, and we're going to move right on to what we've been watching. Starting at Greg the Movie Guy, what you been watching?
Patrick, for that little stunt you pulled, this is for you.
Well, at least you did it in between words, so we're not covering somebody. There you go.
All right. So, actually got quite a bit consumed this week. Finished the series Dead to Me, which, oh my God, that show just keeps getting better and better. The co-stars of Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini, holy God. I can't even describe how amazing these two are. You literally have to watch them as they play off of each other because they are absolutely fantastic. Watch Dead to Me. Finished watching Space Force. Was very entertaining. A couple laughs in there. A lot of laughs, I should say. It's a comedy. But was really entertaining. Definitely check that one out. And then the other night, Emily started watching this Garth Brooks documentary, which I didn't anticipate liking because I'm not a big country fan. But I do love the behind the scenes and how they got to where they are now. And it's a fascinating documentary. Docuseries, I should say. There was 2 episodes for it. So I don't remember what it's called, but if you see a 2-part Garth Brooks documentary on Netflix, it's probably that one.
Maddie, what do you got?
So first I was kind of rewatching The Boys because apparently it's supposed to drop the 2nd season next month. I don't know if that's still on, but that's what they had said previously, but I hadn't heard anything otherwise. But then last night, we watched a movie called The Axiom, and I think you guys should really check this movie out. Greg, I think you would like it because it kind of reminded me a little bit of Cabin in the Woods. Kind of had that that thing. It was kind of like Cabin in the Woods meets Antrim meets Alice in Wonderland. It was really great, but the other reason I think you guys should check it out is it was a very low budget film done very well. You could tell they didn't have a lot of that cash, but they just used what they had, and it was a super entertaining movie. We just kind of randomly picked it off a Tubi, like just scanning through, and we're like 30 minutes in, we kind of looked at each other and we're like, this isn't terrible. Like, what the hell? So that's kind of the 2 like big things I've been watching this week. But
that was called Axiom?
Axiom, yeah. Okay, I definitely, as I said, recommend that, especially to like independent film people, because as I said, you could tell they didn't have a huge budget, but they rolled with it and they did great.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent. I'll decide to check that one out.
Yeah, I was actually able to see quite a bit this past week, trying to clean up my Plex server a little bit from movies that I had held on to from past challenges that we've done. So I saw a movie called Boyhood, which is that movie that they spanned over 12 years. Yep. It was really interesting, but I mean, story-driven, anything like that. I mean, it was a long-ass movie as well. I like what they did with it, though, with the idea of spanning that over 12 years and having, the same actors all the way through. So that was a pretty good flick to watch. I watched an old David Lynch movie called Blue Velvet, which I think was one of his first ones. Not for sure.
I think so.
Then I caught a older movie, Christopher Lee movie called The Devil Rides Out. I'm not even sure why I had that one, but I watched Devil's Ride Out. I watched a movie from the 80s called The Gate. You don't have to see that one. You really don't have to see that one. I saw I would label it a creature feature. It's called The Hallows, and it's an Irish film about this guy that takes his family out and lives in the woods because he's like a tree expert. But there's all this mythological stuff coming to life and attacking his family. So it's kind of a creature feature. Not bad movie. I saw a movie that starred the woman that was in Midsummer, the young woman that was the lead in Midsummer. It was a movie called Malevolent. And I think you need to stress the meh in Malevolent. And then finally, I caught a movie that I suggested to you guys to watch, and I hope you do at some point because I'd like to get your input. It's on Shudder. It's called The Headhunter.
It starts really slow.
It does start a bit slow. It gets rolling, and like I said, it's only like an hour 10.
Yeah, I bailed on it because I started it at a moment where I would just I could not mentally handle slow, so I bailed on it. But I will go back and yeah. I definitely suggest watching it because it's one of those things where they had an obvious low budget, but they did a lot with it, and it's basically one actor the entire time.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So that's what I've been watching.
Cool. I did a lot of random rewatching this week because I was trying to finish up a project I was working on writing wise. So I finished that. So because I finished that, I rewarded myself with a new movie that just dropped on Shudder this week. And I watched a documentary called Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was just thinking of that one.
So fucking good. It's really good. And they don't cover a ton. They cover a little bit about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, how it was the gayest horror film ever made, and stuff like that. But they focus mainly and more on Mark Patton and being a non-out gay in the 80s and what it was like to be an actor in the 80s and not be out and what being out meant in the 80s. So it focused a lot on him and how kind of a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 kind of sunk his career that was moving really well until he made that movie. I would definitely go on Shudder and check that movie out. It's really, really good. It's an hour and a half watch. So that was kind of the main new movie that I watched this week, but a lot of really good new stuff dropped on Shudder this week. Saved all of it. So I'm hoping to get to a couple other new ones this week. So let's move on to I'm going to let Maddie kind of take over here because she came up with our topic. She did all the work for it. So go ahead, Maddie.
Yeah, we had kind of been talking about that horror trivia game that's supposed to be coming out, but it's not coming out until
July.
Yeah, later this summer. So I thought we'd do something a little like that, but little not. So I'm going to pull this up here. And we are playing a version of Horror Jeopardy, as I said again, so no one comes for me in that chat log. I know this is not the format of Jeopardy, but I was not going to redo what I already done when I realized my mistake. So these three guys are going to play. We have 4 categories. We have monsters and madmen, sequels and prequels, the classics and miscellaneous. All questions are $100 through $500. You will not be getting any money from me. So,
damn.
As I said, you do not have to answer the question as a question. These are just classic horror trivia. I try not to do anything too weird because I know I kind of tend to watch weird shit, and that's fine. But we are going to start with Patrick. Pick your category.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to go on the record by saying I'm going to get my ass kicked in this contest here. Let's go with the classic. Well, first of all, do you want to announce what the categories are for the non-viewing listeners?
I just did.
Oh, you did?
So we're already starting.
So you're going to list
Patrick, clearly paying attention.
So you're going to list I've been looking at the stream to make sure that we don't get bumped off again. So do you want to list the categories for me? No, just kidding. So I'm going to go with the classics for 100.
Classics for 100.
Oh, damn.
In Carrie, what did the other students dump on Carrie at the prom?
Are we all buzzing in?
No, this is your question.
Okay,
if you don't get it, somebody can steal.
Okay.
If not, you pick again.
Well, I'd like to answer a whole ton of feces, but the actual answer is tampons and maxi pads.
That is not correct.
What?
Yes. Would someone like to steal?
I'm stealing. I
want to steal.
Oh, I know what you...
Yeah.
Okay. They do... Technically, they do that in the shower room at the beginning of the movie.
It says
buzzing.
at prom.
That's not
At
in the prom.
prom.
I'm buzzing.
Fuck, I can't read.
Josh.
Can't read.
Is it pig's blood?
Yes,
Pig's
it
blood
is.
is correct. So Josh for 100.
Patrick needs to read.
You need to listen, goddammit.
Well, it's even written right there, and I didn't even get it.
All right, Josh, you have control of the board. What would you like to pick?
I'd also like to go on the record by announcing that I fall apart under pressure. So here it goes. I'm going to go with sequels and prequels for 100, please, Maddie.
Sequels and prequels for 100. What movie did Jason get his iconic hockey mask in?
Okay, it was Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Friday the 13th, Part 3. You are correct, sir. That is $100. You are at 200. You are leading. And pick your next topic.
I'm going to go with sequels and prequels for 200.
Sequels and prequels for 200.
Josh, if you're on the board, I'm going to smoke you.
A Quiet Place was originally meant as a sequel to what film?
Oh, shit. A Quiet Place was originally meant as a sequel to what film?
Sequel?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Would anyone like to steal?
I can't even venture a guess on that
I don't
one.
even think that I can, yeah.
All right, the answer was Cloverfield.
Oh, really?
I would have had no idea.
Interesting.
All right. Josh, since you didn't get that one, Greg, let's move on to you. Pick
I'll take miscellaneous for 100, Alex.
miscellaneous for 100. Oh, crap.
The Exorcist.
Hey!
How the hell did that happen? Sorry, guy. All right, pick another one.
Miscellaneous for 200.
This is awesome.
Miscellaneous for 200. What horror film was the first movie to show a woman in just a bra and slip?
Ooh. I want to say it was something from the 70s. I'm going to go with Last House on the Left, 70s.
All right, I actually can't remember what this one is, so we're going to have to show it.
Psycho.
I knew that.
Bart.
I knew that.
it.
I'm sorry,
I
I
knew
could
it.
not remember what I put as that. So, beep, beep, no one gets that. So, let's go back to Patrick.
Let's see. Let's hit the classics again for 200.
Classics for 200. What classic horror movie was originally called The Babysitter Murderers?
Classic horror movie was originally called The Babysitter Murders. This would be Halloween.
Halloween! So you got 200 on the board. Patrick, you are... Just a second. All right, pick your next one.
We're going to continue with the classics for 300.
Classics for 300. Which room does Dick Halloran tell Danny to stay away from in The Shining?
Son of a bitch. And I'm a Stephen King fan, and I can't remember the number.
I know, I was going to say, you've had 2 Stephen King questions in a row.
I'm having trouble getting the number 1408 out of my head because that was another one of his books. Greg knows he's ready to answer this question. I'm going to say room 210.
Nope, that is not correct.
I knew it wasn't correct.
Steal.
Greg.
314.
No, that is not correct.
Really?
Does anyone else have a guess?
Because it may be different in the book than it is in the movie.
I thought it was 2 something. I'd say 214.
237.
Oh.
All right.
Damn it.
Greg, we'll let you. That was a tough one. You want to pick again?
No, because I'm apparently terrible at my horror trivia.
It's okay.
Monsters and Madmen for 100.
Monsters and Madmen for 100. What famous slasher has killed the most people throughout his film franchise?
Famous slashers. My glaring lack of knowledge. I'm going to say Freddy Krueger.
That is not correct. Would anyone like to steal? Josh.
Just based on the number of movies, I'm going to go with Jason.
Jason is correct. What was that? Was that 100?
Yes.
Okay. Josh, you have control of the board.
I'm going to invest in buzzers. We're going to do buzzers.
Josh, before you guess, in the book it was 217.
Okay. This was from the movie.
I was still way fucking wrong. I'm going to go... Have we done 300 yet for prequels and sequels?
We have not.
Let's do that.
Red Dragon was released how many years after Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, son of a bitch.
That is not correct.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm okay. Trying to think of the year Silence of the Lambs came out, because then I can do the math. I'm going to go with 6.
Nope, that is not correct. Would anyone like to steal?
I'll try and just say 4.
That is not correct. Greg?
11.
That is correct.
What year did the Silence of the Lambs come out?
1991.
Okay, so I was close. Then I thought okay.
Greg, you have control of the board.
Have we done miscellaneous for 300 yet?
I do not believe we have. So let's do miscellaneous for 300. Which horror film was filmed in just 7 days?
Oh, I got to quit picking this one.
I actually can't remember this one either, so if you get it wrong, we might just have to click and check the answer.
Well, Josh and I can turn around so we're not looking at the screen.
Okay, but I don't think I can, rewind it.
Well, we could give our answers if he's wrong. We just don't have to face the screen.
Okay.
Just put your hand up, Patrick, and cover it.
Got it.
I know this is going to be wrong. I'm going to say the Blair Witch Project.
Let's go ahead and check.
Oh,
Paranormal
fuck, seriously?
Activity.
Well,
Let's
Josh
go.
and I can't check.
Were you either of you going to check that?
No, Greg actually took my answer. That's what I
Yeah,
was
that
gonna
would have
say.
been my guess as well.
All right, Greg. Pick again.
Let's just clear it out. Miscellaneous for 400.
Miscellaneous for 400. How many people associated with The Exorcist died during production?
And I just watched this on frickin'
Me
Shudder
too.
the other day.
Me too.
Did you guys watch Cursed Films?
That's what I watched, yeah.
I'm going to say 3.
That is not correct. Anybody else?
I'm gonna say 5.
I was going to say 5, yeah.
9.
9!
Yeah. This is not a good one.
We are not doing well.
No.
All
For a
around.
horror podcast, we are terrible.
Everybody listen to our horror podcast.
We know
You know what we're
nothing
talking about.
Because we're the experts.
All right, we're going to circle Patrick. You pick. You have control of the board.
I believe Monsters and Madman for 200 has not been picked yet.
What is Pinhead's human name? You're like, fuck you, Maddie. That's his human name.
His
read
his human name, like when he's not Pinhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rimshot Thudpucker.
No, it fucking isn't.
It's Vincent.
No, it's
I
not.
have no fucking clue,
Yeah,
obviously.
okay. Does anyone want to steal?
Oh, I just saw this the other day. Oh, man. Is it like General something?
It was a military thing, yeah.
Oh, crap. I can't remember. General something. I know that much.
Josh, do you have a guess?
I don't.
It's General So's Chicken.
Elliot Spencer.
Oh, nope. That wasn't what I was thinking then.
All right, Patrick, back to you.
Well, I just chose that one. Let's go Monsters and Madmen 300.
In Scream, what is rule number 1 on Randy's list of rules for surviving a horror movie?
Never be alone?
Nope. Josh.
I believe rule number 1 is you can't have sex.
Don't have sex.
Yes!
What was that? Was that 300?
That was 300.
Yes.
Josh is leading us all here.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
you are.
All right.
All right,
got-
Josh, you got control of the board.
Let's go to my favorite category that I've bombed in, sequels and prequels for 400.
Who is the only character to appear in and survive all 4 Jaws movies?
Okay, I don't want to, because I can't think, I don't even want to say it because I can't think of her name. So I just gave that away. But I can't think of her name, so I don't know.
Does anyone want to steal?
Steal.
Greg?
Chief Brody?
It's not Brody. Is
Michael
it Brody?
Oh, no, is it the son? That's the son, isn't it?
Yeah, somebody's cousin. I knew it was Brody something.
No, Michael was the son.
Michael was the son.
But didn't the wife appear in all 4 and survive in all 4?
I don't know. Greg, I'm going to give that half to you. Was that 400?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 200 because you got
I
Brody.
got a relative.
You got a relative. You got somebody. I don't care no more.
It was a piece of trivia. The wife moved to Nebraska, and that's how she survived.
right.
Well, she was definitely in Jaws the Revenge, and she survived that. So I just assumed that she was in the 2nd and 3rd Jaws movies and survived all the way through.
You going to argue with me? You arguing
I'm
with
not
me?
going to argue with you, but I can look it up though.
Greg, you got control of the board.
I'm not going to touch miscellaneous because I feel stupid listening or picking that one. So, what was the last one? Classics.
Classics for 400.
Do that one.
Where does the Poltergeist take place?
God damn it. Suburbia, Chicago. I don't know.
Nope. Does anyone want to steal?
Are we looking for a city or a state?
I'll take state.
Arizona.
Nope. Josh, do you want to steal?
Was it shot in California?
It was. California.
Oh.
Josh for 400.
Josh is like at 900 now, I think.
You got control of the board, Josh. What do you want?
What is left? Just the bottom row?
I think you got Monsters and Mad Men for 400 as well.
And then the bottom row. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's clear out the 400 and do Monsters and Mad Men.
Monsters and Mad Men for 400. Why can't Michael Myers be killed?
The way I understand it is because he's cursed?
Yes, that is correct. An ancient druid curse from Michael Myers curse, or from Halloween Curse of Michael Myers.
That's so dumb, but okay.
That is fucking stupid.
So they created an entire movie
to explain
just to explain why he can't die.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Only 500 left. Josh has control of the board.
Let's start from the beginning. Monsters and Mad Men for 500.
How much screen time does Freddy Krueger get in the first Nightmare on Elm Street?
You want exact minutes?
I want an exact minute.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
That's why it's for 500.
I know. I'm going to go 25 minutes.
That is not correct. Would anyone like to steal?
I'm going to say it's less than that. So
That's not specific enough.
So I'm going to say 15 minutes.
That is not correct. Greg, do you have any guesses?
I'm going to say 24 minutes.
This is not The Price is Right, gentlemen. 7 minutes.
Wow, that is insanely low for what I thought it would be.
Huh.
All right, guys. Josh, let's put you back in control of the board.
Equals and prequels for 500.
How many Amityville movies are there?
Okay, here's the thing, Maddie. This is not fair because are you going to count all the independent filmmakers that were like, I can buy the Amityville name and make the Amityville box set?
I don't think Alex Trebek gets this much shit.
No,
I quit.
I'm going to go.
It is difficult
Does
to
on
say.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
Okay. Just generally, I'm going to go with 4.
No. Any guesses?
I'll bite 6.
I don't think that's it either. Patrick?
5. I'll split.
It's like 12. Yeah.
There's 16.
It's crazy because anybody can make an Amityville movie now.
All right. Well, since you were arguing with me, Patrick, you're in control of the board.
Well,
Fuck you, Josh.
I'm not arguing with you. I was asking a question.
I did say that one is so hard because I agree with Josh because, anybody and their dog can make an Amityville movie now.
Aldo, do you want to make an Amityville movie?
Yes. Let's go with the classics for 500.
Classics for 500. What's the name of the apartment building Guy and Rosemary move into? God damn it, Aldo!
That would be the Bramford.
Aldo in your stupid big ass. Whatever.
Don't give me that one. So, final question.
Final question.
Miscellaneous for 500.
In the first 2 Hellraiser films, how many different actors play Frank Cotton?
In the first 2?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 3.
Yes.
Nice.
Patrick for 500.
Good for you, Patrick, because I couldn't even tell you the fuck Frank Cotton is.
He was the muscle guy.
Yeah.
The guy who was rebuilding his skin.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen a Hellraiser movie, and I can't even, to be honest with you, don't even know if I really ever watched them all the way through.
All right. So in first place, we have Josh with 1,400. Second place, we have Patrick for 700, and then Greg for 5. So
I should just resign right now.
From your horror movie experts at Midnight Fright Films, thank you for playing Horror Jeopardy.
Next week.
I'm going to get an early release of that Trivial Pursuit and just start studying the cards.
That was just a warm-up. We'll do it again next week, guys. So it'll go better next week. We'll answer every question.
Yeah, okay.
No, well.
I'm going to turn it back over to Josh so we can continue and head off our review.
We watched a movie this week, chosen by Greg, called Itsy Bitsy. Patrick with the deep.
Itsy Bitsy, a 2019 film running an hour and 34 minutes on Amazon Prime. Based on the centuries-old poem, a family moves into a secluded mansion where they soon find themselves being targeted by an entity taking the form of a giant spider. IMDb rating, 5.0. Metacritic score rating, not available. Rotten Tomatoes critic score, 56%. And Rotten Tomatoes audience score, an abysmal 30%.
Oof.
Woo! Ooh, Gregory, I know you had a hard time choosing a movie this week, so why land on Itsy Bitsy?
So it's not that it was a difficult choice. The movie that I wanted is just, it's not readily available, and that makes it tough. And really the only difficult part I had was trying to find the movie that I wanted to do. But when I stumbled on Itsy Bitsy, I remembered that we had talked about it in one of our reviews, or not reviews, but we reviewed the trailer of it.
Yeah.
And I like it when we get to review the trailer and then actually see what the final product is, because the trailer it can be so much more different than what the actual movie is. And I think that's the exact case in this. And the one thing that I'm really disappointed in myself about was not going back and listening to our talk of the trailer review. So I was happy to do this one. It was the first one on top of my list of the movies that I came across. But mostly it was because we had done the trailer review and I wanted to see how it turned out.
For sure. Cool.
Yeah, good idea.
So what did everybody think? Did everybody watch that movie today? Or did you guys watch it?
I watched it last night.
Watched it last night?
I actually rewatched it today. I had seen this movie before.
I watched it today.
What did everybody think?
You know, I think this was like a good attempt to like kind of breathe some kind of different light into like the giant spider movie. Like I think like the whole like thing of it being like a curse from like a tribal thing. I thought the beginning of this movie was really cool. Overall, I don't think it was a stellar execution, but I think a lot of it lied in the dialogue. A lot of this dialogue was real rough. Like that scene where she's sitting in the diner with the policewoman, that was almost as painful to watch as that rape scene we talked about last week. It was like on that level of like, oof. So, I mean, that could have really been cleared up. Those kids were obnoxious, little brats. The other thing that I kind of was like, what is like, first of all, nobody on earth is going to hire a nurse with a drug problem. So like that kind of, there's a big hole in that. And then I wasn't really sure why that woman's tragic backstory, trademark, was like relevant to the plot at all. I was actually kind of thinking, I was like, why are all these weird tragic backstories in horror movies when they don't really need to be? So yeah, I think this movie could have been tightened up a little bit. I think maybe with a little bit better writer and director, it probably could have gone a lot further. I mean, this wasn't horrible. It kind of just reminded me of like maybe one of the better sci-fi movies. Like maybe it came on at like 7 instead of like 2 a.m.
Did anybody recognize the woman that played the sheriff?
Yes,
No.
Tasha Yar.
From Pet Sematary?
Yeah, she was also in Star Trek Next Generation.
Yes, that too. I saw her come on screen and I was like, oh, okay. They have kind of somebody in this movie.
Well,
That's where their entire budget went.
her and the one actor,
Bruce Davison.
Yes, thank you.
Matt, are you finished?
Yeah, I didn't have anything like super in depth to say about this movie. The only other thing I kind of want to comment on is there's one section where the spider had like human eyes instead of like normal eyes, and I was like, "What the fuck did you do?" It was when the spider was like up in the attic and it kind of turned and it kind of looked like it had like little people eyes like glued on it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
So I kind of want to coattail off of what Maddie was saying. I 100% agree. This movie was confused about what it wanted to be. Overall, it wasn't terrible, but I feel like the director had a really, really good drama story and a really, really good horror story and tried to fuse them. And it stayed like this the entire time. There was no overlap. It was just cut and dry. If you wanted to make the drama story, make the drama story about the decrepit guy with the nurse with the drug problem trying to reach her kids, or make a fucking spider horror movie. They didn't mesh well. It's an oil and water situation here. And I think that's what hurt the movie the most. Following that, it was very scripted, and you can tell that. And Maddie, you mentioned the diner scene. It was very mechanical. There was not a lot of emotion that goes into this. They tried to put emotion into it. Like, I think they tried to give the sheriff more of a backstory, which I didn't care anything about. Really, I think the best actors in this movie was the guy who played Walter, I can't remember his last name, Bruce Davidson, whoever his character was. I think he was probably one of the best pieces of this movie. Mm-hmm. And the elder boy, I think, played really well for what he was given. Bruce Davison being the best part of this movie, you took him out of the movie halfway through, and it just nosedived from there. I think there was just a lot of little things, little trip-ups that really hurt this movie and what it could have been. I was appreciative of some of the effects that they did. I was appreciative that they used a little bit more practical. The spider was kind of corny. I didn't feel any fear from it, and I'm pretty much arachnophobic. So take that for what you will. But, overall, it rides the middle line. If you want to watch it, go for it. If you don't, you're not missing much.
Yeah, one thing, like you said about the drama versus the horror in this movie, like, was this movie only like an hour and a half or something like that? And, like, it took an hour, almost over an hour for the first, like, spider death to really happen. And, like, nothing had really happened beforehand except trying to explain, as I said, this woman's #tragic life and, like, what was going on and setting all of that up. And so I'm kind of like, if you're going to market this as a horror movie, I'm sorry, your first death needs to be from your main protagonist, which is the spider, needs to be before an hour in. Mm-hmm. You can't just have him, like, peeping Tom at everybody and then just, like, narrowly escaping them. Like, that doesn't...
But in fairness, too, this wasn't going to be, like, a body count movie either. There wasn't enough characters in this movie to even get your first kill in the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, but I think that's where it falls into the fact that it was confused about what it wanted to be. Was it going to be a drama and then just take the spider out of it? Or did it need to be a horror movie and maybe a few more kills? Like, they got the cat in there, which was interesting, but there needed to be more on the spider. They couldn't balance the two storylines that were going on, and it hurt it in the end.
Yeah.
Patrick?
For the past few weeks, we've been asking why we've got the Father of the Year awards going out. Well, this week we've got the Mother of the Year award going out. Yeah,
she was a shit-ass mom.
They get to the house. First thing she does is abandons them. They don't know anything about this place. She walks in and goes, "Oh, I've got to go to work. Take everything out of the van and start unloading it for me, would you?" And it's what, a 10-year-old kid and a 5-year-old kid, pretty young, having to do that. And then it became very apparent that they had to do everything on their own anyway because she was a drug addict. Speaking of, did you notice she took her pills weird? She'd chew them like candy or something like that?
Yeah, I'm like, you swallow those. Come on.
Unless that's the thing. Unless, you break it up so it enters the system quicker. I have no idea. That just seemed a little weird to me, that she was chewing the pills for it.
I think they thought it would, like, make more of an effect, like, if they showed her, like, I think it was, like, a longer, like, drawn-out, like, drug-taking thing if she, like, they had a shot of her, like, chewing her pills. But I'm like, this ain't no Tom's girl. You swallow that Xanax.
It just seemed weird to me that the sheriff didn't get involved on a level with the kids' situation. Obviously, knowing the mother was a horrible drug addict. I mean, she told her right there at the cafe, "I know what's going on." Mm-hmm. But she knew she had these 2 young kids at home, so why didn't the sheriff actually do something about that? That was weird to me. This movie seemed like it was 3 different stories stuck together, because it was the first story with Bruce Davison and his egg thing and all of his geological finds. And then there was a story with the mother and what she went through with the death of a child that was her fault. And then another story which involved a handful of spiders. So it didn't quite mesh for me as well as I had hoped it would. I thought the effects were okay. The spiders looked pretty cool. I thought it was really weird that, like, they would go from a spider's POV and that he'd, like, be moving back and forth behind things just to, like, glance out and look at someone and then poke his head back. That seemed a little strange to me sometimes. I wanted them to take it so much further than what they did. The scenes with the spiders and the family, to me, were pretty safe. I wanted it to be a little bit more horrifying, perhaps. And the buildup of... There really was no buildup. There was no anticipation of what was going to happen in it. I wanted to be a little bit more on my edge of my seat during this. And Greg, I have a question for you, because I know spiders are not your favorite thing in the world. Did this bother you at all?
No.
Yeah.
No, like I think I was more bothered by the trailer, and just because of what it was. They didn't show the spider. They showed the legs creeping out and things like that, which, yeah, it will give you the heebie-jeebies, but you walk into this and you see the evolution of how this thing is coming into this story, and you're like, gee, I've got 6 of those up in my attic already. Not that size, but they're spiders. Okay.
When we
Bring
had
out a
watched,
golf club and start swinging.
Yeah, when we had watched the trailer for this, I was actually impressed, thinking, oh, this could be really good, because they had that overhead shot of the spider in the bathtub, and you can actually see the size of the spider. So I remember from the trailer, we were kind of looking forward to this. And then when my oldest daughter and I had the opportunity to see this, she's extremely afraid of spiders. Like, arachnophobia put her over the edge. That movie put her over the edge. She actually laughed at this one. Didn't bother her at all.
Yeah.
So there was an obvious failing in there somewhere.
Yeah, I remember watching the trailer too, and I actually was really excited about it as well. And I remember watching this and, like, obviously I'm not bothered by spiders because I have a huge spider tattooed on my fucking arm. So, like, they don't bug me. That was a bad pun. But, like, I remember watching this movie and thinking it was just kind of goofy. And I was actually thinking, I was like, I wonder if Greg thinks this is scary. Because, Greg, I know you don't like spiders very much. I just remember thinking, I was like, maybe this would be effective for someone who doesn't like spiders. But I don't know. The fact that the spiders are kind of almost like a back seat to everything else that was going on, I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, spiders didn't seem to be the biggest problem in the movie. Like, junkie mom leaving her 10-year-old to watch her, like, 5-year-old kind of seemed like the biggest problem to me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of hit all the points. I didn't think the effects were that good at all in the movie. I thought the CG was pretty terrible at points. Patrick hit the POV thing. I kind of wish they would have stuck with that a little more. At first, when they did the POV shots of the spider, I was like, oh, they're trying to save money. They'll just do this for a little while. For real, though. And, not have to put that shitty spider on the screen. Would have saved some dollar bills here and just do POV stuff and kind of hide it for a little while. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, they should have stuck with that for a little while longer, because once they showed that spider, it was kind of over for me. I would have preferred to watch Arachnophobia. I loved Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia is great.
The trailer, I felt like, kind of hit all the good points, and it sold the movie really well, but that movie was really rough. I kept thinking also, like, that little girl, granted, it's a little girl actor, but, like, I felt like they were feeding her lines. Like, little girl, say, oh my God, there's a spider. Oh my God, there's a spider. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were just kind of feeding her dialogue.
Well, and she seemed like they were trying to make her portray someone, like, younger than she was. Like, to me, I was like, this girl kind of looks old enough to kind of, like, have her shit, not have her shit together, but, like, to me, they were kind of
old
like...
enough to understand what's going on.
Yeah, they kind of seemed like they were not dumbing her character down, but, like, de-aging her character. Like, I think she was supposed to be, like, 5 or 6, and I felt like they were like, okay, I need you to talk like a 3-year-old. Right.
And then, like, you know, at the end when the mom got bit or whatever, and she's sitting there just, like, falling apart, that little girl, that spider bit through that girl's hand. Am I right there? How did she not just become fucking destroyed from that spider bite?
Okay,
so when the spider bit it, go ahead, Maddie.
I was going to say, if it goes... So normally most venomous animals, when they bite, then the venom injects. So if it goes through her hand, there's not really any venom going there, because a lot of the times, like, here's the fang, like, the, like, pore that's the venom's going to come out is down here. So if her hand, like, is right here... Right. It's not going to do anything.
I got you. I was just sitting there going, how is that girl, like, not
I wondered the same thing too. That's a good point.
And then I like I didn't like, but that little. Usually, I love a little stinger at the end. Like I love those setups. Like, oh, everything is cool and the spider is gone, and then they show that little web in that little house at the end with all the other spiders crawling around. Normally, I like those little stings. I fucking hated that. I was like, they better not make Itsy Bitsy too.
I didn't mind the fact that you started seeing spiders coming out of that egg sac. That didn't bother me. It was the post-credit scene that bothered me. I don't know.
There was a post-credit scene.
There was a post-credit scene. These guys are coming in to either move into the house or move things out of the house. I don't know what it was. And there's this guy, he opens a thing. Spiders are crawling around. He goes, because he doesn't like spiders.
Oh,
it was stupid. It was stupid. It was stupid.
So, no, I agree with you, Josh. Like, I knew what was going to happen. I knew that they were going to set it up for a sequel when the mama spider was laying all the egg sacs. And you're like, okay, well, we know where this one's going, but there was no, like, immediacy of it. Like,
right.
The 3 people that lived in the house are now on the road off to who knows whereville. Okay, so there's a bunch of superhuman spiders living in a house that nobody lives in anymore. Why do I need to be impressed by that?
Right. And I just felt like, I know we've already talked about how shitty the mom is, but I feel like she set her kids up to be in a dangerous situation every chance she got. Like when that spider jumped out the window, she was like, oh, go downstairs and get my medical bag. Or like that little girl was looking for her giraffe by herself with a flashlight. I just felt like the mom was like, yeah, just go find shit and help me. I know the spider's there, but go look anyway. Yeah, I said I know we already talked about how shitty the mom was, but yeah.
I almost wanted to see, they spent a good amount of time explaining the lore behind this spider, and I wanted there to be more of that it's not just a spider, because they showed the woman with the 6 arms and 2 legs, basically implying that this woman was an arachnid. I wanted to see more of that maybe there was supernatural or a mythological legend behind it, and that comes out in what the spiders are and not just big spiders.
Right.
There was a little bit of me that was hoping that once the mom got bit, that she might become that. And I thought, okay, that'd be a cool twist.
Like a human spider, yeah.
Exactly. I would have appreciated that a little bit more than what had happened.
Yeah, honestly, the best part of the movie was like the origin of this spider.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they had made an entire movie about like that, I would have been all fucking down for it. Like, and that's what kind of almost frustrates me about this movie, because I'm like, you guys had good ideas, and then you just didn't know what you really wanted to do. So we ended up with this. And it's just kind of like, no, like this is one of the only movies where if they made like a prequel, like to explain that whole thing, I would have been like all over it. But yeah, they just didn't, just the execution and...
Right.
Was this ever released into theaters?
No, that went straight VOD.
Yeah.
Okay, because the only reason I'm asking is on Rotten Tomatoes it does say in theaters and it gives a date, but that just must mean when it was publicly available.
Okay, well, maybe
possible, because it wasn't rated.
It's not rated, so doesn't it have to be rated to hit theaters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I kind of noticed with this movie, and I've actually kind of noticed this kind of a trend this year, is like putting suspenseful music in non-suspenseful parts. And I don't know why, but it just kind of like bothers me, because I'm like, okay, the first couple movies that did it, fine, but like now it just seems to be like the cool thing to do. And I'm like, guys, it's not the cool thing to do, because it's just setting up a bunch of jump scares. Because like what happens is someone's doing like something like totally innocent, like making fucking toast, and then it zooms in on the toaster and like that like suspenseful music plays and then the toast pops out and it cuts to another scene and you're like, oh, fuck you. Like, just, that was obnoxious. But I don't know, I just kind of noticed they did that quite a bit in this movie, and
yeah,
I'm just telling people it ain't cute.
Anything else, guys, on Itsy Bitsy?
I would say that this is probably a safe movie for timid horror watchers.
7-year-olds.
Yeah, I would say, because to tell you the truth, I don't remember a lot of horrible language in it, and there's not a ton of gore, so I would probably say this is a safe horror movie for younger people.
It could pass with a PG-13 rating if they had to rate it.
Easy.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, if you think of like Poltergeist was rated PG. And, like, I think you could probably stick, like, Poltergeist and Itsy Bitsy on the same level. But, like, that was also back in the 80s and more shit, like, flew. So.
Right. Cool. So then we will rate on our Fear Factor, Gore Score, and overall ratings. So, Maddie, we'll start with you. Fear Factor.
Yeah,
this ain't fun, so.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of fear in this movie. As we've discussed, I don't even think someone who is, like, arachnophobic would find this movie scary, because, like, the spiders look like they came out of, like, fucking Jumanji from, like, the 90s, so, like, there ain't no fear. I mean, if your fear is shitty parents, maybe, but, like, I'm gonna give it a 1.
Greg?
I'm going to agree with that. I think a 1 is a very solid rating. There's nothing to be feared of in this. There's nothing fun, really, about it. So, 1.
Patrick?
I agree with the 1 wholeheartedly.
Cool. Well, it is a clean sweep on the 1 for fear. All right. Maddie, Gore Score.
Was there any gore in this? Like, no. 1. If you guys would let me do a 0, that's what this thing would get. But, like, we all gotta be correct. So 1.
Greg?
So I'm actually going to give it a 3. The only gore that I recall seeing in there were the after effects of the spider bites that you got to see on the humans, especially the weird van driving guy that popped into the house, and he was actually, like, pushing and doing gross stuff with that. That was kind of disgusting. So I'll give it a 3 for that part of it.
Cool. Patrick?
Yeah, I'm going to go right in the middle there with a 2. Gore was extremely, extremely low on here, but there was some things like when why can't I think of the actor's name again? Bruce Davison, when he was crawling across the floor and parts of his skin was being left behind. Yep. There was some pus, couple other things, but it just wasn't, there was hardly any blood whatsoever, really, really low. So probably 1.5 actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride that middle line with Patrick and go 2. There's the eyes missing on that actor as well in the bathroom. And then, yeah, just after effects of spider bites. So I will rock the 2 down the middle. Overall score, and would you recommend, Maddie?
It was a 4. It's not great. It was a solid effort, but, like, the execution was pretty bad. I don't know any 7-year-old horror viewers, so I don't really have anyone to recommend this to. But if I run across one, I'm going to tell them to watch that Itsy Bitsy.
Greg?
I think this would be a middle school girls sleepover movie. Something that they wanted to get freaked out by, but wasn't really all that creepy. Overall, I'm going to give it a 4. You could probably throw this into a horror starter pack as a spider movie. I mean, that's kind of what it was, but I think 4 is solid. If you want to watch it, I'll recommend it. Again, if you miss it, you're not going to lose sleep over it.
Patrick?
It's pretty low for me. I'm going to give it a 3. Would I recommend it to anybody? Maybe to somebody who has kids for a sleepover, like Greg had mentioned.
Cool. Yeah, I think 4 is pretty fair. I wouldn't tell somebody to not watch the movie. If somebody asked me about it, I'd be like, check it out. I mean, I said I wouldn't run out and tell people to watch it, but if somebody asks about it, I'd tell them to check it out. Why not? Yeah, I think 4 is totally fair. So, Itsy Bitsy. It is on Amazon Prime. If you do want to check it out, it's there. It's free. Go check. Plugs. Who's plugging? Maddie, you like to do the local plugs. Got one?
Right now I don't, except to say, people, if you are out protesting, we still do have a plague and you need to wear a mask. Seeing a lot of you kiddos out there without a mask, that is not okay. This is still a thing. You need to still be safe. You need to be wearing a mask when you go out. You need to be washing your hands. You need to be taking precautions when you enter your home after being out in the public. You need to keep your spaces. So that's kind of my plug, is there's still a fucking plague.
Natural selection.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of plague, there is a festival that could be coming soon to Nebraska. Still working on the details for that. But if you are a filmmaker in Nebraska, know a filmmaker in Nebraska, go check out the Flatwater Film Festival. Submit a film if you got one. Check out the Facebook page. Hopefully, we can figure out a way to still to do this thing. So go do that. Patrick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that festival will be happening regardless, whether it is live and in person or a virtual film fest. It will happen one way or the other.
And it is free to submit to that festival.
It is completely free. The only prerequisite is that it is a Nebraska film. Let me say that again. The only prerequisites are that it is either made by a Nebraska filmmaker or made in the state of Nebraska.
Cool.
So, if you're a fan of the Frightcast, we know that you are. Help us out. Head on over to iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on, and make sure that you rate and review us. You can also find us on all the social media. Just search for Midnight Frightcast. And then also, check out our films at midnightfrightfilms.com.
Cool. I guess that does that for this week. Join us next week. Kick our ass in trivia. And coming out on episode number 86. So for Maddie and Greg and Patrick and myself, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Stay safe out there.